On this episode of the Grow Our Plateau podcast, we have Ryan Millard from Coldwell Banker Prime Properties in Syracuse, New York. In this episode, Ryan will share how he grew his business exponentially using humorous pieces of content on both Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's get started. Cool. All right, Ryan, thanks for hopping on. Why don't you let's just jump right into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Chris, I appreciate the invitation and opportunity to speak with you today. Name's Ryan Millard from Coldwell Banker Prime Properties. Been in real estate for 4 years now. Love it, hate it, all that fun stuff. It's been a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's already December, but here we are.
Right. Now, Ryan, what were you doing before you got into real estate?
I was selling light bulbs. Before that, I was a manager of a collections department, kind of stuck in the office and had an opportunity to do outside sales. So I went to a small mom and pop lighting company out of Solvay. We sold light bulbs to schools, hospitals, property management companies. That lasted a little over a year. In that year, I was in multiple referral groups with several different realtors and had an opportunity to shadow one for a few months and got my feet wet. And we kind of just dove right in full time from the get-go, and took a while to get going, but here we are doing pretty well.
So you've been in it for, you said 4 years?
Yes, sir.
So did you start doing social media marketing right from day one, or did it take you some time to kind of get into that?
I mean, I definitely promoted myself a bit on social media. It didn't really take off until probably the beginning of the second year when I met my photographer, and that's kind of when we went full bore. And now we're pushing out a video or two a day. And Clearly it's working. I get a lot of leads from social media, a lot of connections from social media. Social media. Top of mind. That's the goal.
Right. So going off top of mind, like what is like the platform that you'd say kind of is the best platform for you? And what kind of content would you say gets the most engagement or works the best for you?
Great question. I would say obviously it's probably between Facebook and Instagram. I feel like I get most of my leads would be through Facebook, so we tap into that a lot. I'm a goofy guy, so we do a lot of humor. The humor things are kind of what people remember me for, so we kind of push that a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of value add as well this year. That's something we're going to be like seriously tracking over the next 3 or 4 months, like what hits, what doesn't, and go from there.
Cool. So now on the humor stuff, do you how do you come up with your ideas? Because I've seen some of the videos and they're good. So like, how do you just like, hey, they got this weird idea and your videographer says, all right, let's go shoot it.
Yeah, he has a fun time trying to explain this to people, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always been pretty creative. So if I see something and I can kind of twist it into like a real estate, you're going to be seeing a lot of like movie scenes this year. We're going to be reacting some movie scenes and doing kind of curtailing that into a real estate realm, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where these ideas come. Late at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, I wake up in the middle of the night and text myself like this was going to be a good one.
So it sounds like you kind of stick with the humor, right? And then you mentioned getting into more of the value add stuff. Are you going to start diving into like the educational kind of stuff too, or are you really going to stay in your, stick with the?
No, absolutely. I think you got to mix it up. Right now we're doing a lot of like the trending reels, but we're going to start sprinkling in the value add and the educational stuff, whether it's for buyers or other agents. You and I did that social media summit for other agents. a lot of people I follow nationally push like agent stuff, like they're trying to help other agents. So I think that might be a route I might take this year. It's Anthony.
What's up, Anthony?
Hey. But the value add
So
helps. You got to sprinkle it in. You have to kind of diversify and mix it up a little bit because not everyone wants to just continue to laugh. I want to also provide value. And yes, I'm funny,
right.
but I know what I'm talking about. So I want people to understand and trust that I am and can get the job done.
Right. Yeah, you kind of want to let your knowledge of your industry kind of shine too, right? So where do you find your ideas for that education or value add stuff? Is it from those people that you follow that are in, maybe other markets?
Yeah, so a big thing I do, and you asked where I get some of these ideas. Like I follow a lot of top producers around the country, a lot of social media influencers in the real estate realm. That definitely helps get the juices flowing, get some ideas from them. Yeah, the trending topics. There's a lot of trending things on real estate on Instagram, so we kind of take that and make it our own.
Yeah. And that making it your own, right? Like I think a lot of people think, when you follow or get inspiration from someone else in another market, they almost feel like they're copying that person, but you're really not, because you can put your own spin on it and your own personality, right?
Imitation's the biggest form of flattery. We got
Right.
I got a couple of those questions during the summit. Like, we don't want to be stealing these people's ideas, but the reality is, if you're stealing their idea and it starts to trend, like that's what trending topics are. All the
Right.
trending dances, the trending pointing things, like those are all things that someone else thought of and created. So if you're
Right.
going to take that, make that your own, and it hits, are you going to complain?
Right, exactly. Now, what kind of, like when you're doing, the humor, or when you start diving into the more educational value add stuff, what types of engagement do you look for or do you want?
Comments
Is it
are the
shares, like
best.
comments?
Yeah, I would say comments, and like everyone gets the likes, right? But the comments are where it's going to populate on someone else's feed. So every time I get a comment, I'm always responding. Try to keep it open ended so they can respond back and keep that dialogue going. Because the more interaction on each post, the higher it's going to be on the page for everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's a huge thing too, right? Like you kind of just mentioned it. When someone comments on your video or whatever it is, it's extremely important, right? Anything, always respond, right? Yep. Even if it's just like a thumbs up, whatever it is, always respond, right? So, kind of going into that realm of like, the humor content, that kind of thing. Were you ever, concerned about getting in front of a camera? Have kind of a fear or anything like that before you? Yeah. So how did
You should
you?
see my
Right.
first videos. And kind of going back to the value add, I would always do like a Market Monday update, sit in front of the camera and speak for like 3 minutes straight. It would take me probably 2 hours to do a 2 or 3 minute video because I would do 50, 60 takes. We're getting better. We're kind of closer to 2 or 3 takes now. Obviously, the more you do it, the more confident you get. But definitely, I mean, I still dread doing it. I mean, I got to be in the right state of mind when my guy comes, because if I'm not, it's a wasted day. So you have to be prepared.
Do you
Every
do
time.
scripting?
I typically wing it, but that is something we are actually working on. We're going to be doing a lot of I don't know if I should share this, but we're going to be doing a lot of small business awareness. I'll just leave it at that. So that will be scripted. Interviewing some business owners around the city, vendors around the city, including you. But that will most likely be more scripted than just off the cuff.
Yeah. Yep. And that gives you the opportunity to tap into their following and their audience too, right? And just kind of
exactly. That's the goal. I mean, if you can help promote another company and you're on their page and they're promoting you, it's going to be a lot of people that don't know you. And it's all about networking, man. Talking to as many people as possible. That is the name of the game. If you can talk to
Right.
minimum 15 to 20 contacts a day, whether it's friends or family, like that's my goal every day.
Yep. Yep. I kind of want to go back to when you first started. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but this kind of popped in my head. Did you, you're from Syracuse, right? So did you really rely on that sphere of influence to kind of get you jump started?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
My first deal was my best friend. My second deal was my mom's coworker. Third deal was my mom's coworker. So the very beginning, it was the center of influence, going back to social media, promoting myself on Facebook. And that's where you build your foundation as the center of
Mm-hmm.
influence. They're going to be the first people that are going to recognize you and trust you to deal with the biggest purchase of their life. So I think that was huge for me. I mentioned I was in all these referral groups. So I was in 6 or 7 different referral groups when I was selling light bulbs. So I tapped into that circle as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just slowly snowballed into what it is today, where I'm getting leads. I got a phone call literally right before this from a girl I went to college with. She's like, "You remember me? I was so and so's roommate." I'm like, "Yeah, no, but what's going on?" She's in Florida, moving back to Central New York, and she's like, "I remember you jumping in the pool with your suit. Like, I'll never forget that." And
Yep.
I'm going to be helping her buy a house in a couple months. So
That,
it's crazy, but it works.
yeah, and that was free, right? I remember the video of you jumping in the pool with the suit, but it's memorable, right? People remember it, and it was, I'm assuming, free, right? You didn't put any money behind it.
No, I mean, I pay my video guy, but that's
Right, but like in terms of like promoting the ad or anything like that.
yeah. I've never paid for a sponsored ad on Facebook.
Mm.
I mean that video alone I think's got almost 15,000 views, something crazy like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Do you have or do you utilize like a CRM to market to your past clients or that sphere of influence when you first started?
Um, Facebook.
Yeah.
My CRM just got completed. My assistant just did it like 2 months ago. I
Mm.
never started it, so it would just get daunting and more people I had to add. So like I've never really tapped into a CRM. I have a notebook that I write in every day, 10 names to follow up. I go to my past client list, make sure I touch them once or twice a month. And then just constantly posting on Facebook, commenting on clients' walls. Uh, just being
Mm-hmm.
interactive on social media has just been huge for me.
And that's going back to what you had mentioned earlier about being top of mind, right? Like it's commenting,
Liking their
if they get it,
posts.
liking their posts. Yep. If they have a new, do you do anything like gifts? If they got a dog or if they have a new baby or something like that, anything like
Yeah,
that?
I've done that in the past. We've done drop-bys. I just mailed out a bunch of calendars. So all my
Mm-hmm.
past family and friends got my ugly mug on their fridge for the rest of the year with a calendar. We try to do postcards every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Just different touches. I mean, marketing is I think it's like 6 to 8 touches before you get that yes. So just staying top of mind, continue to do the right things, being consistent with it.
Yep. Yep. So what else do you do, offline, right? I know you had the billboard and the postcards. Like anything else, that you do or are
Yeah,
planning
really
to do?
cool thing. We started this last year. I'm on the mugs in a few diners around town. So my name and contacts all on the coffee mug. I can't
Mm-hmm.
tell you how many times I get photos of that sent to me, and I'm like, make sure you post it on Facebook. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big hit. Like, have I seen? Actually, I take that back. I got a call this week from somebody on the mug. She's like, I saw your photo. I kept it 3, 4 months ago, and now we're ready. Um, Similar to the billboard, it's tough to track these things and get it's just directly from that. Um,
Yeah.
so we just try to compound it. The more and more I can push out there, whether it's a postcard, my name on a coffee mug, um, just branding, man. That's what it's
Yeah.
about for me. I grew my business through the brand, and we just push that as much as we can at every angle we can.
So that's interesting. So when someone when someone sees your picture or whatever it may be, you're asking them to turn that more traditional marketing piece into more of an online social media marketing piece, right? By them posting on social media.
Yeah. So every time I get a photo of like my coffee mug, I'm like, make sure you post it. When I did the billboard, we had like a scavenger hunt, find the billboard, take a photo in front of it. So we do definitely different angles. I mean, I was dancing in front of my billboard in the leprechaun suit on St. Patty's Day, handing out little JMO bottles with my business card. Like just being, because it's not just the billboard. It has to. We did the billboard. We did a bunch of videos. We did the dancing thing. It's more than just that. And now, like this year, we're gonna do like giveaways for the diners and stuff. The gift card. If you send me a photo, post a photo of my thing, you're in the monthly drawing for a gift card. So different angles to bring awareness to the marketing piece.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because like, you mentioned it where it's hard to track, leads or calls that you get from a billboard unless you use, a separate phone number or a separate email address. But normally it's just hard to track that kind of thing. But also on top of that, what you're doing is you're turning that billboard into something more engaging by, say it was a St. Patrick's Day. I remember the billboard. It was a St. Patrick's Day themed, billboard. And then you used St. Patrick's Day to, go around and do what you did with the leprechaun suit, right? So it's not just about the billboard, right? It's like what do you do on top of the billboard to make that more engaging?
Yeah, layer it. You got to layer it, and even with social media, we've done video series where it just gets, you're just stacking it on different. I don't know if that makes sense, but you're just layering it, different opportunity, different chances for people to share the post, different chances for them to interact with it. Right.
Yep. So I mean, you obviously have a lot going on from the social media to, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, plus the non or the offline marketing stuff. Do you utilize a content calendar to keep you organized and know like what gets posted when?
Yeah. So we just started this. I have a content calendar in my home office that I know, like Testimonial Tuesday, Meal Mondays, kind of silly stuff like that. But now we are on like an actual automated website called later.com. So where we've been doing a lot of batch content, meaning shooting 20 videos a day. And then we layer that out over the next 3 weeks. Then every once a week, I'm going in there and writing the captions. So they're automatically going to be getting posted whenever it hits. The cool thing with like analytics and with this later.com is they'll tell you when the most of your followers are online. So we post a half hour before that each day, and it's different each day, like Tuesdays at 2, Wednesdays at 8 at night. So it's always different, and you'll notice my postings are sporadic towards that. We're trying to get the most engagement possible. So we're doing a lot of back-end analytics and trying to figure out the best time, when's the best time. And it's not consistent throughout the week. Every day is a different time where more people go on, and it's all tracked online. So we're all data. So we're just trying to take that data and capitalize on it.
So that's interesting. So you have that really dialed in. So there is a reason and, really a reason of why you're posting and when you're posting, right? It's when your followers are most likely to be online and engaging with something. Right?
So like reels typically are sent out to people that you don't know, but if your followers are online and liking it, it's going to draw more attention to the people you don't know. So the more likes from your followers and friends are going to boost that post to the strangers, and that's the goal. I'm trying to get strangers to like the post, strangers to interact with me, and buy a house.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's turning those comments, like shares, into an actual client, right?
Yeah.
Do you do anything specific or anything right now that that you are able to turn those common shares into a client, or have you?
I have some scripts. So when I think I mentioned this on our summit, like we get a lot of, is this still available? Is this rent to own? A lot of the similar questions. So I kind of crafted some language to open their mind to potentially buying. A lot of people don't think they can afford to buy. So I, lack of a better term, dumb it down for them, open their eyes, and then send them to someone like you. Let's get you pre-approved. Let's see what we can do. You'd be surprised if you can afford a $2,000 a month rent. You certainly can afford a $1,400 house a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely able to craft it. I mean, there's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of, oops, wrong button, didn't mean to do it. But I have language for every response. And just trying to capture these people and always liking them and friending them on Facebook so they continue to see my stuff. Whether they're ready to buy now or in 6 months or 6 years, I still want to be top of mind for them.
Yep. It's all about casting that wide net first, right? And then, funneling them down into, being actually ready to buy a house, or being there. Yep. Being there when they're ready to buy a house. What is your biggest challenge? Whether it's social media or business wise, what would you say is the biggest challenge for you right now? Besides inventory. Okay.
Would say definitely focus. Maybe time blocking, right? I get pulled in so many directions every day. So being able to stay focused, I think, would be definitely my biggest challenge. ADHD does not help. I don't know if that's real or not, but
do you do time blocking?
Yeah, time blocking. I try to do it. Like every Sunday when I'm mapping out my week, I try to stay in the time blocking thing, but it never ever works.
Yep. Yeah, life happens, right? Deal blows up or something issue, you got to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, you got to tackle the important stuff. But at the end of the day, most of the stuff isn't life or death. Really, none of it is. So keeping that in the back of my mind, it's not urgent. We don't have to do that. Let's focus on these phone calls. Let's focus on your emails, whatever the case may be. I just have to stay focused. I don't know.
Yeah. So take me through your week, right? Perfect. Let's say everything's going smoothly and your time blocking is on point, right? Take me through the week of how you structure your day, Monday through Friday.
I'll even start on Sunday. Every Sunday, I map out my week in my little calendar. I want to hit this many people. I want to hit my 2019 clients, my 2020 clients on whatever day. Monday morning is typically the follow-up for all my contracts on my pendings, see where they're at, any updates on that front. Then I follow up with all my potential seller leads. Tuesday usually is all my current buyers and buyer leads. Wednesday is about a lot of showings. Tuesday and Thursday is usually when Matt comes and we do a lot of filming. And then sprinkled throughout that is showings, listing appointments. But typically Mondays are my current contracts, future sellers. Tuesdays usually all my buyers. And then it kind of trickles out from there. All the contacts I make those first 2 days will kind of dictate the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Now, nothing weekends are mostly for I'm assuming showings and all that kind of stuff, right?
A lot of showings on the weekend.
Okay.
I only have 2 this weekend, so I probably just jinxed myself, but.
So what are your, goals? Have you do any business planning or anything getting prepared for 2023?
Yeah. So obviously we're December now, so that's my focus these next few weeks is kind of hone in on exactly what I want to do. Obviously north of 10 million would be a goal. We're going to try to shoot for 80 deals next year.
Okay. And to get there, is that when you mentioned, honing in on your content, more value add stuff?
I think more consistency. The goal was 80
Mm-hmm.
this year. We're going to come up a little short. These last few months have been kind of weird, to say the least, in this market. We're still doing some deals, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like it was even 4 months ago when we're
Major.
doing double
Yeah,
digit
yeah.
deals a month. We're scratching at the pavement right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's quiet. Um, any other plans for 2023 in terms of being more consistent? Any offline marketing you plan on doing, or reaching out to past clients?
That's a huge thing for me is my past clients. They know what I can
Yeah.
do for them, and they're huge referral sources for me. So I make it a point to reach out to every single one of them at least once or twice a month. Um,
Mm.
so staying consistent there. Um, we'll probably be seeing another billboard this year. Uh, we're also going to be on a bus. There's a couple other cool
Okay.
things that are going to be coming down the pipeline for in terms of marketing. Um, hoping to buy another rental home
Nice.
this month or this year at some point, just once the numbers make sense. But yeah, just staying consistent. I think refocusing, getting some energy to kick ass next year is a big thing over these next few weeks. I'm going to dial it up and hopefully kick some ass.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, right? This time of year, right? Obviously, it's very slow. Like I would say it's slower than normal. At least we have been, but it's important to kind of stay focused, right, and plan for 2023 because what you do now isn't going to show up for another 3 months,
Yeah,
right? With
that's
kind
a
of
huge
planning,
thing.
I'm planning for March, really.
The 90-day window. If you're not making calls today, in March, you're going to be sitting there with your thumb sitting on your thumbs and like,
Yeah.
what now? So you have to. That's a big thing my broker pushes is income producing activities. Have to be consistent with that at least 2 or 3 hours a day, making phone calls, following up with leads. Um, and that's kind of where I went the opposite way with social media. Like I'm consistent on that because that's really where my lead sources have been. But I'm also going to be making calls, making it a point to um, make more phone calls, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be
Yep.
different
Yep.
avenues, different ways to make money. It can't strictly be a billboard. It can't strictly be social media. You have to tap into different things, whether it's door
Yep.
knocking, writing letters, dropping by, phone calls, whatever. You have to spread yourself. The why not? You mentioned that before.
Yeah. One like it kind of reminds me of our saying that we have here. It's high tech. You have the technology and that kind of stuff, but you also want to be high touch. Being more personal and in someone's face, right? Calling, texting, that kind of thing. So high tech, high touch.
I like that.
That's kind of our saying. Yeah. What's your ultimate business goal? Like, do you want to have a team?
It's tough managing people and having those expectations that they're going to work as hard as me. You know. Um, so I've tried that route. And I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I'd love to sit back on the beach and have a team work for me and buy and sell all day long while I'm just chilling, drinking a margarita. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just don't think I have at least right now, I have no interest in owning a brokerage, nothing like that. I don't want to do the paperwork or deal with any of the EO and all that stuff. So I'm happy um, just running the show here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's one thing. So I asked, the same question, same three questions to every single guest that's come on. So, what's one book you think everyone looking to grow their business in real estate should read?
How about a podcast?
Or even just a website or just a
Yeah, I'm
podcast.
not much of a reader. I actually cleaned out my office this
Mm.
week, and there's some books I was supposed to read this year. I haven't opened them. Um, believe it or not, I love The Broke Agent. I love Aura Ask. Podcast is really good. Tom O'Toole has a really good podcast. Um, I forgot this Brian guy. I'm drawing a blank on his last name. but very good. I mean, I like podcasts. I'm more of a listener
Yeah.
instead of a reader. So I get a lot of knowledge from those guys over Ask Podcast. It's really good. It's funny too. You got to get some humor in there. Um,
Yeah, that's the one with Matt
Leonetti.
Leonetti, is that his
Yeah.
name? Leonetti, yep. And yeah, those guys are funny. All right, what should everyone who is in real estate either stop doing or start doing?
Put yourself in front of the camera. Start it. You're always going to have those roadblocks that you're not good enough, your voice is weird, you're ugly, whatever the case may be. Get in front of the camera. Show the audience, show your people what you're worth, and break the ice. It's such a huge icebreaker. Like I mentioned that the pool video, like I typically walk into a house, it's already a warm lead because they've been following me for 3, 4, 5 months. I've gotten
Yep.
deals that no one can sell this house. I know you can, just from my videos. Like just getting out there and putting yourself out there is going to return tenfold.
Yeah. How did you break that ice then? How did you just one day be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it?
I always say I will embarrass myself. I could care less what people think. If I'm willing to jump in the pool or ride around in the neighborhood in a boat,
Yeah.
we're in costumes.
Yeah.
We got a really good one coming for Christmas. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, that shit works. I mean, look at the guys at Bridgeland and Candy Cars. They're in all these crazy costumes and they're crushing it selling cars. You know
Yep.
who they are. Like Billy Fusillo had that tagline. You
Yep.
might hate me, you might love me, but you know who I am, and that's the goal.
Yep. That's a good point. And last question, where can everyone find you online?
Awesome. My tag is Moving with Millard. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Same hashtag, same tag for all of them. And that's another thing. Make sure your tags are all the same. It's easy to find you.
Yep. That's a good point. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here, Ryan. This was a ton of good information, so thank you.
Awesome, Chris. Hopefully that helps.
All right.
Reach out to me with any questions or any real estate needs. Moving with Millard, baby.